Welcome back to Share Trick HIV, everyone. Tim here, and with me, the incredible Annie.
Hey, everyone.
So, Annie, today we're basically hopping into a time machine, going to 2025, to see what the landscape of HIV treatment might look like. The fight against HIV, it's still going strong, but there's really exciting things happening in the labs right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the biggest things is the continued success with stem cell transplants. Do you remember the Berlin patient? The very first person cured of HIV using this method? Well, now there's a next Berlin patient. The 7th person cured with a similar approach.
Wow. 7 people cured. That's incredible. Can you kind of break down how this procedure even works?
Sure. So basically, it's like a total makeover for your immune system. It's replacing your entire immune system with a donor's immune system that has a special genetic shield. It's called the CCR5 Delta 32 mutation.
A genetic shield. What does that even do?
So imagine your cells have this lock, and HIV uses that lock to get in. And this mutation changes the lock completely. So HIV can't latch on, can't infect your cells. It's like this natural resistance to the virus.
That's pretty amazing. But I'm guessing this isn't, a simple procedure.
You're right. It's not a simple process. First, finding a donor with this rare mutation, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. And then the procedure itself, it's pretty intense. And it's expensive. We have to weaken the patient's immune system before and after the transplant, which leaves them vulnerable to infections. And recovery, it's no walk in the park either. It's a long and tough road.
Yeah. So it's a high risk, high reward situation.
Yeah.
Are there any new developments that could make this procedure safer or maybe more accessible to people?
There is some good news. The London patient case showed us we might be able to use gentler treatments before the transplant. This could mean less intense chemo, shorter recovery times, and potentially open up this treatment to more people down the line.
Less chemo, shorter recovery? That's huge.
Definitely. And on top of that, researchers are looking at other therapies that could replace chemo altogether.
Like what? What could replace chemo?
Well, one really promising avenue is using specialized antibodies. These are like tiny smart bombs. They target and disable specific immune cells. They're way more precise than traditional chemo. So there's hope for fewer side effects.
So instead of carpet bombing the immune system, we're using targeted strikes.
Exactly. They're still in early trials, with HIV negative cancer patients. But the hope is to eventually use them in HIV positive individuals going through stem cell transplants.
So even though stem cell transplants aren't a cure-all yet, the research is definitely pointing in the right direction.
It totally is. But remember, stem cell transplants are just one piece of the puzzle. Researchers are exploring a whole bunch of other ways to tackle HIV, from rewriting the body's code with gene therapy to beefing up the immune system's natural defenses.
Gene therapy? That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. How could that work against HIV?
It's cutting edge stuff for sure. In the context of HIV, gene therapy could be used to make your immune system completely resistant to the virus. One way to do this is by tweaking that CCR5 co-receptor. Remember the one we talked about with the stem cell transplants?
So instead of getting a new immune system, we could edit your own genes to resist HIV. That's pretty wild.
It is pretty wild, right? It's still early days, but the potential is huge. There are definitely challenges, to overcome. But gene therapy could be a game changer in the future of HIV treatment.
So what about boosting the immune system's own ability to fight HIV? Are there any leads on that front?
There are a bunch of exciting avenues being explored. One is called CAR T cell therapy, which is like giving your immune cells a serious upgrade. We're talking about engineering your own immune cells to recognize and destroy HIV-infected cells way more effectively.
Like turning your immune system into a finely tuned HIV hunting machine.
That's a great way to put it. And another strategy is using highly effective antibodies that either attack HIV directly or target specific entry points HIV uses to get into cells, like those alpha-4 beta-7 receptors in the gut.
Wow. It's amazing how researchers are attacking this virus from every angle. It feels like we're really on the verge of some major breakthroughs.
The progress is definitely remarkable. And on top of these treatment strategies, there's a ton of research focused on developing preventative measures like vaccines, which could stop HIV in its tracks.
Yeah. Let's dive into that because, prevention is always better than a cure. What's happening in the world of HIV vaccines?
Well, one area that's showing real promise is monoclonal antibody treatment. This is kind of like passive immunization. So instead of making your body produce its own antibodies, you give someone pre-made antibodies to fight HIV.
So it's like borrowing someone else's immune system superpowers. But where did these antibodies even come from?
It turns out that some people who've been living with HIV for a long time, they develop these super powerful antibodies. And these antibodies can neutralize a ton of different HIV strains. And scientists have figured out how to isolate these antibodies, study them, and even make them synthetically.
So we're basically harnessing the power of the immune system's elite forces.
Exactly. And the early results from trials using these monoclonal antibodies, they've been really promising. The challenge is these antibodies need to be given repeatedly, which isn't ideal.
So it's not a one and done solution.
Not yet. But that's where things get really exciting. Researchers are working on vaccines that can actually train your body to produce these powerful antibodies on its own.
So instead of borrowing antibodies, we're teaching the body to make its own arsenal. That's incredible.
Right. It really is. One promising approach is called germline targeting, and this involves using a series of vaccines to basically train your immune system's B cells, the antibody factories, to target and neutralize HIV.
Like a boot camp for the immune system, getting it ready to fight HIV head on.
Exactly. The goal is to outsmart HIV's sneaky ability to hide from the immune system. We want to create vaccines that trigger a strong and lasting immune response.
This is also promising. I'm feeling really optimistic about the future of HIV treatment and prevention.
Me too. While a universal cure might still be a while away, the progress we're seeing in HIV research is incredibly encouraging.
I can't wait to see what the next few years hold. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue exploring the cutting-edge research that's shaping the future of HIV treatment in 2025.
And we're back, still looking into that crystal ball, seeing what the future holds for HIV treatment in 2025.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to think about how far research has come. We've talked about stem cell transplants, gene editing, and giving the immune system a boost. What else is happening in the labs?
Oh, there's so much happening. It's hard to keep up. One thing I find fascinating is this whole idea of looking at people who are naturally resistant to HIV, like we talked about earlier with that CCR5 delta 32 mutation. Well, researchers are looking at other genetic variations that might help some people, fight off HIV or slow down the progression of the disease.
So it's like studying the immune system superheroes to see what their secret weapons are.
Exactly. By understanding these natural defenses, scientists are hoping to develop new therapies that can either mimic or enhance them in others.
It's like learning from the body's own success stories.
Right. And speaking of success stories, there's a lot of buzz around something called functional cures.
Functional cures. What exactly does that mean?
Well, things are this way. It's about finding ways to suppress HIV to such low levels that it's basically undetectable in your blood. And the best part is you wouldn't need to take daily medication anymore.
So the virus, it might not be completely gone, but it's essentially harmless.
Exactly. Picture this. People living with HIV, living long and healthy lives without having to worry about pills every day or the risk of transmitting the virus. That's the ultimate goal of functional cures.
That's a game changer. What kind of research is being done to make this happen?
One really promising approach is combining therapies that boost your immune system with long-acting antiretroviral drugs. It's like a double whammy. You're training your immune system to control the virus while also keeping it suppressed with medication.
A two-pronged attack. Brilliant.
And there's another exciting approach using gene editing to modify immune cells, making them resistant to HIV infection.
So we're not attacking the virus directly, but making our own cells immune to it.
You got it. And some studies are even looking at the possibility of using CRISPR technology to actually cut out HIV DNA from infected cells.
Talk about a precision strike. These functional cure strategies sound incredibly promising.
They really do. And the coolest thing is that many of these these approaches can be combined or tailored to your specific needs. So we're talking about personalized HIV treatment in the future.
Personalized treatment, that's exciting. It feels like we're moving towards a future where HIV is no longer a death sentence, but a manageable condition.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that progress isn't just happening in the lab. There are amazing strides being made in HIV prevention too.
You're absolutely right. Prevention is key. What's new on that front?
Well, we've already talked about the potential of vaccines, but there are other effective methods like pre-exposure prophylaxis or pre-EP, which is a medication that reduces your risk of getting HIV.
Yeah, I've heard of pre-EP. It's like a daily pill that can significantly lower the chances of contracting HIV, right?
Exactly. And there are even newer long-acting injectable forms of pre-P that are more convenient and offer more flexibility.
That's fantastic. It seems like we have more tools than ever to prevent HIV transmission.
We do, and it's so important that we keep spreading the word about these prevention methods and make sure everyone who needs them can access them.
Absolutely. Education and empowerment are key.
Yeah.
But beyond the science, I think it's crucial to remember the human side of HIV.
Couldn't agree more. Scientific breakthroughs are vital, but we can't forget about the social and emotional impact of HIV.
There's still so much stigma and discrimination surrounding HIV, which can prevent people from getting tested, seeking treatment, or even disclosing their status.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to keep fighting for human rights, inclusivity, and access to healthcare for all people living with HIV.
It's a powerful reminder that the fight against HIV isn't just about what happens in the lab. It's about creating a world where everyone feels safe, supported, and empowered to live a healthy life.
Beautifully said.
So as we wrap up our glimpse into the future of HIV treatment in 2025, what are your main takeaways? What should our listeners be most excited about?
I think there are a few reasons to be optimistic. First, the research is advancing at an incredible pace with breakthroughs happening across the board. We've seen huge leaps in stem cell transplants, gene editing, ways to boost the immune system, and even the development of functional cures.
It's like the scientific community is throwing everything they've got at this virus, and it's starting to pay off.
You said it. And second, there's a growing emphasis on personalized medicine. Tailoring treatments to each person's unique needs and situation.
It's a far cry from the one-size-fits-all approach of the past.
Exactly. And finally, there's a renewed focus on prevention, with more effective and convenient options becoming available all the time.
So while a universal cure might still be a few years away, we're getting closer and closer to a future where HIV is no longer a life-defining illness, but a manageable condition.
Absolutely. And I have no doubt that with continued research, advocacy, and compassion, we can achieve an AIDS-free generation.
That's a powerful statement, and one that gives us all hope for the future.
It does indeed. It does indeed.
It's truly remarkable to see how far we've come. And it's all thanks to the incredible work of researchers, healthcare professionals, and advocates all around the world.
Yeah, it really speaks to the power of human determination and collaboration, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And speaking of collaboration, we can't forget the role of technology in the fight against HIV.
You're right. Technology is becoming more and more important, from developing new diagnostic tools and ways to deliver treatment to using big data and AI to speed up research and personalize care. It's really making a difference.
It's amazing how technology can empower people to take control of their own health and connect with resources and support networks.
Exactly. Think about it. There are apps out there that help you track your medication, monitor your viral load, and even connect with other people going through similar experiences.
It's like having a virtual healthcare team in your pocket.
Exactly. And with the advancements in telemedicine, people in remote areas can access specialized HIV care without having to travel for miles.
That's a game changer for people who might face barriers to traditional healthcare.
It is. Technology is breaking down those barriers and making sure everyone has has access to quality HIV care.
So Annie, as we look ahead to the future of HIV treatment in 2025 and beyond, what are your hopes and dreams for this field?
My hope is that we continue to see the same level of innovation and progress that we've seen in recent years. I dream of a day when HIV is no longer a public health threat, a day when everyone has access to the prevention, treatment, and care they need to live long, healthy, and fulfilling lives.
That's a beautiful vision, and I believe it's a vision we can achieve if we continue working together, supporting research, advocating for change, and treating each other with compassion and respect.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that brings us to the end of our journey exploring the future of HIV treatment in 2025. We've covered a lot of ground, from stem cell transplants and gene editing to functional cures and the power of technology.
It's been an inspiring conversation, hasn't it?
A huge thank you to Annie for sharing her expertise and insights with us today.
Always a pleasure.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode informative and hopeful. Remember, the fight against HIV is far from over, but we are making incredible strides. Stay informed, stay engaged, and together we can make a difference. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Let's spread awareness about HIV and the amazing research happening around the world. Until next time, stay safe and stay healthy.